Hello and welcome back. I hope you did the assignment I told you about in the last lecture. So we're just gonna look at it in a multiple way, and see how you could have done this. And here is the thing: you just put solidity P. No, let's just not change this one. We want to show you a cool thing here. So if we change the text here and just add the more things in here, and we look at it now, press enter, and as you can see, our text is overlapping the other one, and it is going way beyond our view. That is not a good thing. That's why the constraining of the layout with putting it solidity will help. And just put solidity here, and now not necessarily that one. If we go and click to the name, and if we put it in a 0dp here, and what we need to do is click on the other element and make sure it is. Now let's see at the further here, there is no constraint at the right, so we might need to add that constraint right here, and it should work. And as you can see right now, we can see our text here, and because we put it on the 0dp, it's aligning and making sure that it's in that view, but it's not overlapping now to the end. That's one thing you could do, but as you can see, that is way unrealistic for us. But I showed you a clear way so that when your text becomes huge and more, you can use this trick to make sure that your text can go on along and fit into that position, and even though it can go to the next line. So that's the cool thing you could have done with this constraint layout. A constraint layout is so powerful, and it is the base. I recommend it. I use it in most of my development. Easy to use and making it everything quicker and faster. So now what we need to do is look at the actual development of our application. Now we're gonna push in straight with this very own constraint layout. So we're gonna delete all these because we're not gonna be needing it at all, but of course could we leave a thing here? Nothing at all. We no longer need anything here. We're just gonna create a simple view that will hold our text for our note keeper. Of course we do not need an image or any other thing for that. So what we need, if we go onto our palette, we now need a plain text here. So we're just gonna drag these two of them, the plain text, two of them, and as you can see, they're not constrained. We go on to the buttons here, we're gonna drag them all the way here, drag another button. All right, and there we are. We are in our view. So the coolest thing you can do is we're gonna use the knowledge we've learned to align this. So we're gonna align this at the top and put, of course, some padding that is like let's put 24 here, and then put the left constraint, the right constraint, and as you can see right now, it's at the middle, and we need to put some padding here. Let's say 8 there, and we put another padding 8 here, and as you can see, our text is not anyhow stretching, going to that end to end, in relative to our dimensions we have given. And that's a cooler thing that comes again with the DP. You need to set a 0dp so that you can get the most of the view, and as you press enter, you should see it filling out there, and you can see there's a padding here, so that to make sure that we can actually see our padding, let's add more padding here, and we'll just add 16 there and 16 there. Yeah, and the padding is more cleaner now. So what we need to be doing right now is constrain this to the top of that, and when we constrain that, is tightly coupled with the top view. So what we need to do is set a margin, if about, now let's just put in the 16 there. If you want, you can put your own, determined by your own application, whatever your view, and constrain that. And notice we are constraining that to the right of this upper plain text, edit text, and then the left one we're constraining to the left of this again, so that we can relatively and we're just gonna turn this to 0 here, because it's gonna get that margin from our top view, and of course don't forget to put 0dp right here. You press enter, you can see consistency, and you see we did not even add again the padding right here, we only added that at the root element here, so underneath that the buttons are here. I'm just thinking these things are not so cool, so we're just gonna put more DP here just to make sure our text is a little bit at the bottom. I'm just gonna put 32. Let me put 32. I'm okay with 32. So what we need to do is quickly change these, remove the text. We're gonna set a hint right there. Our hint is gonna be here, and our hint is gonna be title. There's gonna be title of our note. Click on that, and our hint here is gonna be enter your note. Press enter, and that is done. And we're gonna change your ID, of course. Please, you need to change. So then let's just say name this one TV notes. Yeah, just gonna notes. Click enter there, and click on the other one. We're gonna click here and just turn TV title. Press enter and refactor. And now the buttons, we're gonna change the ID quickly. Just gonna run the button save. Click enter, refactor, and click the other button. We're gonna say button cancel factor, and that is okay. And the text here is gonna be cancel. And remember, we had our elements in the string. We'll put our elements in the strings, values there, so we can just reuse that, and we should see a cancel here. That's the good thing about putting your items in the strings already. You can reuse your strings, and now it's gonna be safe. I hope we do have another save here. We did not have a save, so we just have to type this and maybe save it on for later use. And now, as you can see, everything is constrained there except the buttons here. So now what we need to do, of course, if you notice, this is not going to be the best view, but we will improve as we go on. But you know how to align these elements. If you feel like you want to grab your things to the center, you can just edit and change the constraints here and make sure that your margin is set to a specific. Of course, you can change this manually here, put your own constraints there, but we're gonna just deal with the 32 we put in there. And of course, the next thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be clicking on the button so that they can be constrained also to a good view. So we're just gonna grab that and place it there, and as you can see, the margin is not good. We're gonna set again another 16 here, and then to our left margin we're gonna edit relative to that and constraint to that one. In fact, it's not relative. And then this one we're just gonna drag and constraint its top to the top of the save so that they'll be having the same DP, and the left of it we're gonna constrain it to the left of that, and here we are. Perfect. And as you can see, everything is now in order, and we are done with our layout or constraint layout. And the next tutorial we jump into code and quickly do some things so that you can head up and finish up these basics and we move on further. And I'll see you in the next tutorial.